kids, how are you? I hope that you will be fine and happy. Today we will read this chapter 8, weather and climate. Okay, so let us start now this chapter, kids. Weather and climate play important role in our natural environment. मौसम और जलवायु का सबसे हमारे प्राकृतिक पर्यावरण पर गहरा प्रभाव पड़ता है. These environment factors control the distribution of the plants and animals across different parts of the earth. यहाँ तक ये है जो पर्यावरण है यह भिन्न पशु और जानवरों को और मनुष्य पर सब पर प्रभाव छोड़ता है. In the turn effect of the behavior and activities of man, यहाँ तक कि जलवायु और वेदर चेंज होने के कारण भी मनुष्य की एक्टिविटी और बिहेवियर भी बदल जाता है. Whenever you hear the word climate, जैसे तुमने वर्ड क्लाइमेट के बारे में सुना होगा, it simply refers to averages of the rainfall. यहाँ तक इसका अर्थ है एक रेनफॉल से टेम्परेचर, प्रेशर, ह्यूमिडिटी, क्लाउड कवर, सनशाइन, विंड, फेनोमेना such as the fog, snow, frost, flood and hailstorm and other weathers events that occur over a long period in a particular places. While weather on the other side simply means the present conditions of the atmosphere. जो भी हम present condition देखते हैं atmosphere की वो हम देखते हैं बिल्कुल different है. However, weather is a short term occurrence. जो weather है मौसम है एक short term क्या है occurrence है which may easily fluctuate or the switch itself. No time, उसका कोई समय नहीं है, जब चाहे वो बदल सकता है. Okay, next है what is climate. चलिए जानते हैं जलवायु किसे कहते हैं. Climate is the average weather. Climate जलवायु एक एवरेज मौसम होता है इन अ गिवन एरिया ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, जो एक समय के अनुसार निर्धारित समय के अनुसार एक लंबे समय तक चलता है. ए डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द क्लाइमेट इंक्लूड्स फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द एवरेज टेम्परेचर इन डिफरेंट सीजन्स. यहाँ तक कि जो एवरेज क्लाइमेट होता है वो एक क्या डिफरेंट सीजन के अकॉर्डिंग होता है, जैसे रेनफॉल, सनशाइन, है ना. Also description of the chance of the extremes is often included. Okay, what is our climate system? चलिए जानते हैं climate system क्या है. Atmosphere है. The atmosphere covers the earth. जो atmosphere होती है पृथ्वी को कवर करती है. It is thin layer of the mixed gases which makes up and the air we breathe, जिसमें हम सांस लेते हैं. This thin layer also helps the earth from the becoming too hot and the too cold. Next is sea and ocean. Sea and ocean cover about 70% of the earth surface. 70% भाग पर समुद्र और महासागर पाए जाते हैं. The large size, the thermal prosperity allow them to store a lot of heat. Land है. Land covers 27% of the earth's surface and land topography influences weather patterns. Ice है. Ice is the world's largest supply of the fresh water. It covers the remaining 3% of the Earth's surface, including most of the Antarctica and the Greenland. Ice plays an important role in the regulating climate because it is highly reflective. Next है biosphere. The biosphere is the part of the Earth atmosphere, land and ocean that supports any living planet, animals or organism. It is place where plants and the animals including humans live. Okay, चलिए what is weather? The weather is just the state of the atmosphere at any time. यहाँ तक कि जो weather है वो कभी भी किसी भी समय बदल जाता है, including things such as the temperature, तापमान के अनुसार, perception के अनुसार, air pressure के अनुसार, cloud cover के अनुसार. Daily changes in the weather. प्रत्येक दिन मौसम बदलता रहता है due to the winds and storm. Seasonal changes occur due to the earth revolutions around the sun. Okay, next है what cause weather? Because the earth is round. जब पृथ्वी हमारी घूमती है, not flat, वह flat नहीं है. Sun rays down fell even on the land. जब पृथ्वी पर सूर्य की किरणें सीधी पड़ती हैं, the sun shine more directly near the equator. तो सूर्य की जब सीधी किरणें सीधा इक्वेटर पर, जब सूर्य की सीधी किरणें इक्वेटर पर पड़ती है, brings this area more warm. तो वह जो एरिया होता है वो और भी ज्यादा hot मीन warm गर्म हो जाता है. However, the polar region at the such in the angle of the sun that light get little on the sunlight during the winter. और जब यही इक्वेटर सूर्य के नजदीक होता है इन विंटर्स में, तो यहाँ पर सबसे ज्यादा ठंड पाई जाती है. ओके, causing colder temperature. This difference in the temperature create a restless movement of air and water in great varying degree. Currently, to the distribute heat energy from the sun across the planet, when the air in that region is warmer than the surrounding air. Okay, it becomes less dense and begins to rise, drawing more air is the underneath. Elsewhere, cooler dense air sinks, pushing air outwards to flow along the surface and complete the cycle. Temperature है, the degree of the hotness is known as the temperature increases. Temperature is the fundamental elopement of the climate from many points of the view, the most important in controlling the distribution of the life on the earth. Most of the weather elements are dependent on it. Directly or indirectly, the atmosphere receives the heat energy from the sun and its temperature increases. जब सूर्य की सीधी किरणें पृथ्वी पर पड़ती हैं तो टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाता है. Due to the different amount of the heat energy received of the different places, different जगह पर जैसे जैसे सूर्य की किरणें पड़ती हैं उनका टेम्परेचर वैसी घटता बढ़ता रहता है. The air temperature at different place also vary. The variation in air temperature basically results into air motion. So the equalize the energy constraint of the different region of the earth. Thus, temperature of the air can be regarded as the basic cause for weather changes. Atmospheric temperature is continually changing. It is never steady or the constant for a long time. Therefore, quantification of the atmospheric temperature is very important aspect. Okay. चलिए next, how is the temperature measured? Temperature is measured by a thermometer. A thermometer is the device in which a prosperity that changes with temperature is measured and used to indicate the value of the temperature. The thermometer has two important elements. Number first, a sensor which responds to temperature change. यहाँ की जो थर्मामीटर होता है इसमें एक सेंसर होता है जो तापमान के क्षेत्र में आती है वो तापमान बताने लगता है. A mean of the converting the sensor response into values of the temperature. To put the measurement of the temperature, यह measure temperature को measurement करने के काम आता है. And a quantitative and the objective basic with the sufficient accuracy, we need an agreed temperature. Scales, units and the reliable thermometers to work with. Historically, the Fahrenheit scale was based on the melting point on ice 32 degree Fahrenheit and the boiling points of the water 212 degree F at the standard atmospheric pressure. Similarly, the Celsius scale used a fundamental interval from 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, these units and the scales are still used. Since 1954, the unit of the temperature has been defined following a suggestion originally made by William Thomson, later Lord Kelvin. Over 100 years the Kelvin scale. Next, the heating of the atmosphere. The solar radiations which pass through the atmosphere before reaching the Earth's surface does not heat as much, but the solar radiation is able to heat the Earth's surface directly. The air resting over the Earth's surface gets heated due to the connect with the hot surface of the Earth. This heat is further transmitted to the upper layer and the atmosphere is heated. Okay. चलिए, distribution of the temperature है. Air temperature is not the same everywhere. It changes from time to time. The temperature of the place is directly dependent on a amount of the insolation received by that place. And generally, the amount of the insolation received decreases as we move from the equator towards the poles. Okay. Next time, on the basis of the amount of the heat received by the Earth's surface, the world has been divided into 3 heat zones. नंबर फर्स्ट है टॉरिड जोन। टॉरिड जोन की लोकेशन है नॉर्थर्न हेमिस्फीयर बिटवीन इक्वेटर टू ट्रॉपिक कैंसर 23 डिग्री नॉर्थ। साउथर्न हेमिस्फीयर की भी ऐसी है, ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न उसी तरह है। फीचर्स हैं इनके रिसीविंग मैक्सिमम इंसुलेशन, सनरेज आर ऑलमोस्ट वर्टिकल थ्रू आउट द ईयर। पूरी साल वर्ष भर से यहाँ पर जो सीधी सूर्य की रोशनी पड़ती है। हॉटर पार्ट ऑफ द अर्थ या पृथ्वी का सबसे गर्म भाग है इक्वेटर। फिर है टेम्परेट जोन। टेम्परेट जोन में जो नॉर्थर्न हेमिस्फीयर होता है वो जो इक्वेटर से यहाँ पर जो 23.5 डिग्री है और उसी तरह यहाँ पर 23.5 डिग्री है ना। ये तो हो गया हमारा टॉरिड जोन। कौन सा हो गया? टॉरिड जोन। उसी के आधार पर उस पर पड़ता है 66.5 डिग्री पर पड़ता है हमारा टेम्परेट जोन। कौन सा पड़ता है? टेम्परेट जोन। ये पड़ता है हमारा टेम्परेट जोन, है ना, नॉर्थ में भी और साउथ में भी, ठीक है। और इसका जो रिसीविंग मॉडरेट्स हैं, इंसुलेशन है, मॉडरेट टेम्परेचर है और ना तो यहाँ पर ज़्यादा ठंड है और ना ज़्यादा गर्मी है। उसके बाद पड़ता है फ्रीज जोन। ये हो गया हमारा फ्रीज जोन। ये हो गया हमारा फ्रीज जोन, नॉर्थ भी और साउथ भी, ठीक है। तो इसमें 66.5 डिग्री से जो साउथ पोल जो 0 डिग्री तक जाता है वो क्या हो गया हमारा, है ना, वो हो गया हमारा फ्रीज जोन, ठीक है। यहाँ पर होता है रिसीविंग मैक्सिमम इंसुलेशन, सनरेज आर द स्लेटिंग थ्रू आउट द ईयर्स, कोल्डेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द अर्थ। ये पृथ्वी का सबसे ठंडा जगह होती है। ओके किड्स, चलिए आगे है एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर एंड विंड्स। Air has weight and the exert pressure. Air pressure is maximum at the bottom of the atmosphere. We also live at the bottom of the atmosphere but do not feel air pressure. This is because inside our body there is the same air pressure as in our surroundings. Since temperature varies from place to place on Earth, the pressure condition also shows similar variations. In areas where temperature is high, air gets heated from below and then rise up. They cannot be a vacuum in the atmosphere. The colder air from surrounding areas rushes to fill the space formerly occupied by the rising hot air. The horizontal movement of the air called wind takes place on the account of the pressure difference over Earth. Air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. The term high and the low pressure refers to the state of the atmosphere where air is hot or cold. The significant rule that air blows that from air pressure area to low pressure area helps to understand the climatic summers. The Bharatiya subcontinent gets heated. The low pressure prevail over the oceans. High pressures prevailing during summers. Therefore, winds move the ocean to land. These winds are the moisture laden, causes rainfall and also known as the monsoon. Okay, chale next are types of winds. There are the various type of wind movement. These movement are the generally associated with temperature zone of the earth. The distributions of the atmospheric pressure also follows this pattern of heat zones. There are the two alternative laws and the high pressure belts in each hemisphere. Likewise, pressure winds also follow a certain pattern. Winds generally blow from high pressure to low pressure area horizontally. These winds blowing in the fixed direction during the year are called prevailing. जब एक समय के अंतराल पर एक हवा एक ही धारा में बहती है पूरी साल, उसे हम क्या कहते हैं? प्रीवेलिंग या परमानेंट विंड कहते हैं। और जब हवा का बहाव इधर उधर रुख मुड़ता करता रहता है तो हम उसे क्या कहते हैं? प्रेशर, मतलब जब हवा का दबाव अधिक होता है तो वायु अधिक है और जब प्रेशर कम होता है तो वायु कम बहती है। winds which change their direction periodically are called periodic winds. और उसी विंड को हम periodic wind कहते हैं। Monsoon land and the sea breeze are the periodic winds. Moisture is the pressure of the water in the air. जब हवा में पानी होता है उसे moisture कहते हैं। Water is the combination of the two molecules of the hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. उसमें से एक कण किसका होता है? हाइड्रोजन का, और दूसरा कण होता है ऑक्सीजन का। तब पानी हवा में नमी पाई जाती है। This bond is so strong that even after billions of the years, it will remain intact. 70% of the earth is covered with water. Motion on water in the form of the gas is the critical and the necessary elements in our earth atmosphere. Moisture is everywhere. It causes humidity, making us feel sticky and hot. It creates clouds due to which rainfall occurs and also storms and the slates which make driving impossible. The presence of the excess moisture can result in the self-damage by the triggering storms like Hurricane Katrina, which uprooted houses and had cars flying. In desert, plants will be up due to the minimal presence of the moisture in the air. In the rainforest, moisture content is high, leading to intensive growth of vegetations. Moisture is the form of the water vapor. Water through the process of the evaporation gets absorbed as moisture in the air. Imagine feeling hot and sweating. Your body emits water molecules which are absorbed in the air as the moisture, and during that process a small amount of the heat is gathered from your body, making you feel cold. But there is limit to how much moisture in the atmospheric air can hold. After a while, the air gets crammed with moisture, resulting in the air being stuttered. When it is windy, the air expands and can take a more moisture. Thus, we always love windy days as the moisture makes us feel cool. Okay? Humidity is defined as the amount of the moisture in the air. जब हवा में मॉइस्चर की मात्रा अधिक हो जाती है उसे हम ह्यूमिडिटी अर्थात आर्द्रता कहते हैं. When we say a city like कोलकाता, उसमें से एक ऐसा शहर है कोलकाता जिसमें 80% ह्यूमिडिटी एयर बहती है. We mean that the air contains 80% moisture. Moisture in the air, humidity. Water is present as a liquid, as a gas in the atmosphere. When water is a gas, it is called the water vapor. You can't see water vapor in the air because the water molecules are very small. When water is liquid, you can see it is in the form of the clouds. It can also fall from the sky as the precipitation, as a raindrop. The amount of the water vapor in the air is called humidity. The amount of the water vapor in the air holds depends temperature of the air. Warm air can hold more water vapor while cold air cannot hold as much. Evaporation है. Water evaporates or the sublimates into the air based on the energy available. As you move further away from the boiling points, the amount of the evaporation decreases. It further decreases when you increases the amount of the water vapor in the air. The drier the air, the more readily available it is to take water molecules. When we see the experience this when we look at the humidex. In the case of the humidex, it feels warmer. जब हवा में जब से ज़्यादा आर्द्रता पाई जाती है तो वो कैसे गर्मी उत्पन्न करता है. Out then is because the humidity of the air does not readily accept more water vapor, which means that your speed will not be evaporation as a heat gain. Now if the wind is blowing, it moves the most humid air, the air directly above the liquid water, and replace it with the air is less humid. Now the air will accept more water vapor, allowing the water to evaporate easier. This is why it feel cooler when you have a breeze or the hot summer day. It is in the fact, and you cooler it is just allowing your sweat and the evaporation more freely. Okay kids, next है condensations. Condensation is the charge of the water. जब कंडेंसेशन संघनन की वह क्रिया होती है जब बारिश से जब पानी बादलों में इकट्ठा हो जाता है और जब वो इतना हैवी हो जाता है इन लिक्विड वाटर, तो कंडेंसेशन जनरली ऑकर्ड इन द एटमॉस्फेयर व्हेन वार्म एयर राइजेस. तो जो गर्म हवा होने के कारण वह जो पानी होता है वो नीचे पृथ्वी पर आने लगता है, उसी को हम कंडेंसेशन अर्थात संघनन की क्रिया कहते हैं. Cools and the losses in the capacity to hold water vapor. As a result, excess water vapor condensed to form cloud droplet. The upward motions that Generate clouds can be produced by convection and stable air. Coverage associated with the cyclones, lifting of air by fronts and the lifting over elevated topography such as mountains. Okay. Next one, precipitations. All the form of the water that fall from the air to the earth's surface are called precipitations. Whether the precipitation is snow, rain, sleet, or the hail depends on the temperature of the air that the water falls through. जब पानी गिरता है, if the air is above freezing, the precipitation will most likely rain. तो वह जो पानी होता है वह किस में बदल जाता है, या तो बर्फ में, बारिश में, या फिर स्लेट में, या फिर ओलावृष्टि में, वो अकॉर्डिंग टू द टेम्परेचर के. If the air is below freezing, यदि हवा ठंडी बहती है तो the precipitations will most likely be snow. तो बर्फबारी होती है. Then air temperature is only a few degrees above freezing, precipitations may fall as a slate. Next, rainfall is the most important form of precipitations depending upon how warm and the moist air cools. Rainfalls can occur in the following ways. Number first is conventional rainfall. When air comes in the contact with the hot surface of the earth, it gets heated, becomes light and rises in the form of the air current. After the warm air reaches the upper layer of the atmosphere, is expanded, the losses heat. This leads to the condensations and the formation of the cumulus cloud. These clouds produce sudden and the heavy rainfall, accompanied by the thunder and the lightning. This is called conventional rainfall. It is experienced every day in the equatorial region. Next, orographic rainfall. When a mountain or the hill comes on the path of the moisture-laden winds, जब हवा के दौरान माउंटेन से वह टकरा जाती, जब हवा एक भारी हवा जब पहाड़ से टकरा जाती है, द मोस्ट एयर मैस इज द फर्स्ट, और बहुत अधिक तरीके से उस पर प्रेशर डालती रहती है, इज अलोंग इज स्लोप. तो वह स्लोप होनी शुरू हो जाती है. इट एयर मैसेज राइज अपवर्ड. धीरे धीरे जब उस माउंटेन से टकरा के जब वो ऊंची उठती जाती है, दिस इज फ्लोड बाय द कंडेंसेशन एंड द प्रेसिपिटेशंस. दिस इज कॉल्ड ओरोग्राफिक रेनफॉल. उसी को हम ओरोग्राफिक रेनफॉल कहते हैं. The windward side of the mountain gets more rainfall than the leeward side. Okay. Next is cyclonic rainfall. This type of the rainfall is generally associated with the cyclones in the tropical regions. At depression in the temperate region in the cyclone, when warm and the cold air masses meet, the lighter warm air masses outrides the cold air masses. The boundary between the two air masses is called front. Condension takes place in the warm air mass and the rainfall occur along the path of the cyclones. This type of the rainfall is common in the belt of the westlands, especially during the winter season. It is known as the frontier rainfall. We receive most of the fresh water from the rain. It is helpful for the producing a variety of crops. But the amount of the rainfall receiving variety greatly, it can cause flood and the droughts at the same time in the different parts of the world. Next, how do we measure precipitations? Precipitation is measured by using a rain gauge. A rain gauge is a small tube. Rain gauge क्या है? एक small tube होती है. A glass of the plastic का upper end open होता है. Measure scale is the usual, उस पे scale measure की जाती है attached to the tube so that the amount of the precipitation. और जब बारिश होती है, जब उस ग्लास में जितना भी भरा जाता है, तो उसी के आधार पर इंचेस और सेंटीमीटर के आधार पर बारिश को नापा जाता है. Okay, now kids, this chapter will be completed. I hope that you understood well. Thank you. Have a nice day.